This is Wingman 3 and it can now help you build even more of a track around the audio you already have in your DAW. Wingman listens to your music and helps you explore chord progressions, bass lines, drums and real guitar performances that fit with the music you're creating. You can also separate stems, convert audio to MIDI, use your own instruments and export everything back into your project. In version 3, we've added a complete drums channel, guitar performances recorded with real musicians, more control over your chord progressions, tempo mismatch detection, and a number of stability improvements. Let me show you how I would use all of this in a real remix production. So I've got Logic loaded up here and I've already added the track which I'm going to record into Wingman. And one important thing that I've done is I've set the DAW tempo to 120 and I've moved the beat to the very start here. This is really important because you need to make sure that the track is lined up in your DAW or your DAW, and you need to make sure that it's lined up with the grid and the tempo is correct. So let's play this. So that's the track. It's a sort of house track, and what I'm going to try and do with Wingman is remix it into a deep house style. So I'll go over here to audio effects, I'll add Wingman, pop it up here, and then press record. So if you're new to Wingman, this user interface might not be familiar to you, so I'll just give you a quick overview. So over here, you can export the stems straight into your DAW just by going like that. And you can also convert the audio stem to MIDI, and then you can drag and drop that into here, like that. Down here, you've got the chord and bass generation. So we've got chords on the top, then we've got the bass underneath, and you can flick through various chord progression ideas and the bassline will follow those. Now, what we've done in Wingman 3 is we've added lots of cool new features. So the first one I'll show you is this advanced option. Now, before Wingman generally only created 1-bar chords, but with this, what you can do is you can slow it down. For example, you can make it 2 bars per chord, or you can go back to normal and then it'll be 1 bar per chord, or you can make it faster so that it's a chord per 2 beats, so half a measure. So for this, I'm just going to use auto, and then I'm going to flick through the various progressions till I find something that I like. So let's start with chord progression number 1. And let's go normal. Let's see what results we get from that. So for this track, I actually like it when it plays 1 chord per bar. So we'll stick with that. And what we can do is we can edit the chords here. So for example, if I want to go to in scale, I can start on the root, press next chord, and then let's go. And then we could even go over here and we've got now advanced, different voicings added that weren't there in Wingman 2. Yeah, let's try that. And if you don't like the voicing, you can change the inversion down here. Now, another feature we've added in Wingman 3 is the ability to split chords and add passing chords as well. So, for example, I could click on this, I can add passing chord, and then you see it's added a different chord at the very end there. Okay, so let's say we've got your chord progression and you're happy with that. Wingman also offers amazing built-in sounds, and they come from Abletunes. And if you've got Serum installed, then there are actual presets, Serum presets already built into Wingman, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's see what we can come up with. So I'll just click over here and Serum presets, and I think let's go with plucks. Say pluck. Let's try that. And we can also change the rhythm as well. So let's go down. We've got all these different ones here. So much to choose from. Let's try Serrano. Let's try a different one. We can just flick through them like this. Okay, I like that, but the octave's too high. Let's turn that down. Okay, that sounds really cool. And I can edit these accents up the top by just clicking on them. And I can just click in again. I can drag them to make them larger. So make it just like it was before, because I quite like that. Well, let's maybe accent this last one like that. Yeah, so you could do like one bar normal and then accent the second one. And you could actually do that quickly by just clicking on here, making it a longer loop. So it's got a really cool workflow. It's really easy to find something that sounds good. So moving on from the chords, we have the bass. So I'll just close this down and then we can open up bass here. And again, let's go and use the Serum presets. Let's go for a Reese bass. I really like Reese basses. And let's see, there's a few you can choose from. Let's see, Can't Go Back. And yeah, I think probably need to turn the octave down a little bit. Let's try that. There is that deep Reese sound, which I absolutely love. So that's really cool. And again, we can change the rhythm presets here. I think because that's quite a busy chord rhythm, it makes more sense just to have a nice straight, especially when using a Reese bass, just have a nice straight rhythm, but you can change them here as well. So let's go back to on chord change and we'll close that down. And I'm going to show you one of the next amazing new features in Wingman 3. So that is drums. So right now, what you're hearing is the stem separated drums from the original track, but we want to use our own drums. So what I can do here is mute this. So it's just the vocal that's playing. I can then go down to drums and I can choose a drum kit. So if I go down to, let's see, house, let's choose deep house because that's what we're making. And let's select that kit and then let's give it a play. That's cool. Let's try another one. Quite like that deep house one. There's loads of them and there's different genres. So I mean, if you don't make house, then you've got like hip hop, R&B, electronic, pop, and you can use suggested as well. So it'll actually suggest a drum based on the content that you've recorded in. So I'll go back to that, go down to deep house 1 again, and select that kit. And then we also have these transitions. So this is so cool because the way the drums work, they're split into different sections. So like A, B, C1, C2. So B, if we just solo the drums actually, that'll make it easier to hear. So that's A, then B, it's the same kit, but it has different instruments playing. It's got more or less depending on which one you choose. And that's great for building an arrangement because you don't want the drums to be the same the whole way through. So let's listen to C. So it's a bit busier. And that's busier again. It's got some, I think it's got a shaker in it, and that one didn't. So this is great because instantly you have different drum parts which you can use to make your arrangement sound more interesting. The last thing I want to show you about the drums is the transitions. When you switch this on, it adds in little transitional parts like this here, which makes it flow so nicely into the next drum part. So if you start on A, for example, and then go to B, and then eventually C, then you're going to hear these effects. It could be a drum fill, or it could be like a clap with reverb on it, or it could be like a down sweep or something like that, and it just helps gel all the drums together. Let's just play it here so I can give you a quick preview. So you can hear the start of that, there's a sort of reverb type hiss effect. And then on B, so it's a rise, sort of white noise rise, and then C. So it's like a crash cymbal with some effects on it. We'll close this down just now, and I'm going to show you another amazing feature we've added, which is real guitars. And guitars work so well in many genres and often used in electronic music like house music. And so what we did is we recorded real guitars and then added them in a way that they would manipulate and work within the environment in here to make them sound, one, really good quality, and two, they're going to fit into a production really well. So if I click on here, and I'm going to go down to here, and then real guitars, and let's see, let's go to rhythms, let's see, electric chugs, let's try that. So that's really cool. Let's try change the rhythm. So a bit more funky. That actually could work in this track. And then let's see if we try and mix that up with a rhythm. And then we've got the effects over here, so we can then make the sound, dial the sounds in. So we can switch on OTT, turn it up a little bit, and then maybe side chain it slightly, put some, a little bit more reverb on it, maybe put a bit of delay. Let's go 1/8 delay, just back it off a little bit, and then we'll leave the filter off. So you can do some sound design before you export it into your DAW, just by adjusting these just to really dial in the sound just the way you want it. So we'll close this down, and then once you've got everything, you're happy with all the sound, you're happy with the chords, you're happy with the bass, happy with the drums. So then you have two options. You can either export the chords, the bass and the drums as WAV, or you can export them as MIDI. So let's just export these. I'll drop it here, here. So when you click on the drums, you get the option to export the full mix of drums, the kicks, the tops on their own, and the transitions, and that really helps when you're building the arrangement and you want to mix it individually. You might want to put some effects on the transitions, maybe more reverb or delay, without affecting the kick. So you've got the individual stems for the drums. So yeah, I've got a remix already started. I can start thinking about what else do I want, what other instruments do I want to have in this remix, and then start thinking about the full arrangement. I hope this helps and shows you how you can use all of these amazing new features that Wingman 3 has to offer in your own productions. Thanks very much for watching, and if you haven't already, head over to mixedandkey.com and get your Wingman today.